An unexpected crisis can mean a family loses it all, but your donation can also help people to keep it together. Here's an example from a letter sent to the Salvation Army of Greater Houston a while back. We would like to thank you all for assistance with our mortgage. May God bless you abundantly. We are returning the funds provided back in April. Because this family got help, they were able to stay in their home, catch up, and pay back the money to help someone else. The Salvation Army of Greater Houston has helped people through their toughest times since 1889. They can only continue to do that with your support. Joining us with how the iconic Red Kettle campaign has changed the lives of so many Houstonians with a hand up, our partners in service and in life, Captain Jeremy Walker and Captain Michelle Walker with the Salvation Army of Greater Houston. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, since 1889, it's a long time that the Salvation Army has been helping people in this city. And as we know, the needs can change, from generation to generation. But it started back in London in 1865, now 136 years here in Houston. When we say we address almost every crisis that people deal with, it's really every crisis people deal with: addiction, disaster relief, youth services, elderly services, veterans programs, hot meal. I can go on and on and on. Michelle, you come from a family that has this heart of service, this particular heart of service.
Yes, ma'am. I do. My parents are Salvation Army officers also, in the Salvation Army for 46 years, and so I've seen what they do and know what we do, and so I appreciate the example that they gave me.
Yeah. You didn't start out in the Army, but I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
How did you two meet?
We met at a camp, a Salvation Army camp in Oklahoma.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, so what made you do that Salvation Army camp? Because
Well,
you were super young.
I didn't
you were
know
teenagers, right?
Yeah, it was the summer I turned 16, and I didn't know anything about the Salvation Army, and my friend was working there, and they needed some help, so they gave me a call, and we ran into each other at camp, and did the camp thing for a couple of weeks, boyfriend, girlfriend, and then I don't think we talked for about another year and a half or so, and then we've been together for 35 years now.
And, look, and there's there. Yeah. And Michelle, it's funny, we were talking before, and you said, my mom took pictures of everything,
Yes,
right?
right?
She made sure I had a
That's
picture for everything.
Yeah.
So about how old were y'all there?
We were probably 17.
Yeah, maybe
17,
maybe
18.
16,
I don't know. It's too long ago to remember.
Yeah, too long ago. All right, so,
I wish I knew.
right.
I know it was about 100 pounds later.
Well, you were wearing a hat back then.
Yes, ma'am.
But you went on to, your respective lives. You lived on a ranch in Midlothian, and Jeremy, you were a ranch manager. Michelle, an RN, registered nurse in labor and delivery. So you had different careers. What was the calling to come into the Salvation Army? Because that's a commitment. You move often. The pay's not great, right? But it is what you get paid in terms of what you do for people is priceless.
Sure.
Right. It's a calling from God. I mean, it's not about the pay. It's not about where we're at. It's about serving the Lord. And so it was something that I wrestled with before I even brought it to her. And, I didn't really want to do it. I tried to talk God out of it. But, it was just me and my horse and God. And I lost on all fronts. So here we are. And so at the age of 36, we went back to college. And we've been doing this now for over a decade. And we're happy to serve. And as I said, it's not about serving ourselves. It's about serving the community and the needs.
Yeah. What was that conversation like when he first came to you and said, "Let's do"? Because I wouldn't be surprised with you because your parents, right?
Yes.
But when he said that,
and she's a very direct person. She don't hold back. So.
Yes, I do. It was let me talk to God about that, basically, because I really loved what I did. I really liked labor and delivery. It's kind of all I wanted to do. Even as a child, I was like always a nurse, always a nurse. So when we got the calling, I said, let me talk to God about that. It took about a month of talking with God in the car on the way to work. And then I was like, okay, I just asked God, take a little bit of what I love away from me so that I can love what you want me to do. And that's what he's done. So I miss it a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
All
God's
right.
good.
Well, that heart of service is still there because even being a nurse is that heart of service, right? There are so many different ways that we need to raise this money. And as we know, so many nonprofits are just to back us up against the wall this year, especially this year. And every dollar makes a critical difference. We're talking the difference between somebody who's living in addiction for the rest of their life versus somebody who now can realize what a life really is, right? People who end up homeless to no fault of their own even. And one thing I want to make very clear to people is that with the Salvation Army, we don't want to keep you where you are. We want to get you to where you need to go. So if you are homeless, we come in and say, let's find out, first of all, let's get you safe, right? Okay, now let's find out how you got there because we're going to help get you out. And what I always love is meeting people every year who at one time needed your services, who are now the volunteers, or who are now putting money into the kettle, or what we saw that letter earlier, wrote that letter and gave the money back to help somebody else. Okay, let's start with the ways that we raise money. There are several. several ways throughout the year, but the Red Kettle campaign is the one that so many people know about.
Right, and it's our biggest fundraiser of the year as we go out, for Christmas. It helps with Christmas all year long, but it also goes through all the programs that you spoke about for the rest of the year. And 82 cents of every dollar goes right back into serving those that are in need here in Houston.
Which is one of the highest ratios.
Yes, we're very proud of that number, and that's why we don't get paid a whole lot. But it's not about us. It's not about our staff. If you know our staff, please thank them because they've got a heart for the mission. That's why they're there doing it. But it's about serving those that are in need. And like you said, we want to be a hand up, not just a handout. Yeah. So we're very diligent in that, and very we really try to make every dollar stretch as far as we can.
Yeah. Now, back in the day, it's like you would walk out and you would put some money in the kettle. Today, people go, "Oh, I don't have any cash with me." Not a problem. We've caught up, right? So if you don't have cash and you're walking by someone who is ringing that bell and out in front of that kettle, what can they do?
They can scan the QR code. They can Venmo, PayPal, Google Pay, Apple, all those fancy things now you're able to do. And so you're able to just give in your own ability. You're able to set up a virtual kettle if you don't have time to go out and ring a bell for us at one of our great partner stores. You can set up a virtual kettle, sit on your couch at night, eating popcorn and having that kettle work for you. Share it up with all your friends, share it around the world, and bring some money in to help those that are in need here in our community.
Yeah, and I always see parents who will put the money in their little kids' hands and say, and sometimes it's the first time they've given.
Yes.
And then that kid starts to know that to give, right? And do something good for somebody else. All right, speaking of kids, we also have the Angel Tree program, which was started in 1979.
Yep, it's a great program. It's a way for us to share Christmas joy, right, and the love of God to people who may not have a Christmas, and that includes our seniors, those who we kind of forget. And they get kind of lonely throughout the year.
And I've been to the warehouse where we start filling their request, and it strikes me every time when it just makes me cry. You're reading what this person would love to have, as a Christmas gift, and a blanket, a pair of socks.
Yes, we don't think about those things, right? We don't think that people don't have a blanket, or they may not have socks, or they may need new socks, or a kid just wants a baby doll, just anything to put under a tree. We're just happy to be able to do it.
And then there's the Secret Santa toy drive.
Oh yeah,
there is.
Yeah, with our KHOU family, it's wonderful going on, and they were out there volunteering, getting stuff together, and we've got a telethon this afternoon, and it's great to see this community come together.
Yeah, and when you think about a toy, to me, a child who receives a toy from Santa or a stranger in the community lets them know they're not alone.
Wait, Santa's not real?
Yeah, well, no, Santa is. He's
okay,
shop.
yeah.
Right, yeah, but it knows that we're Santa's helpers. Knows that they're not alone. And there was a woman that spoke to at our gala recently who said that, her mom had suffered from mental illness. At times they would live in a park, but they came into a shelter one Christmas, and Santa Claus gave her a doll, and she said it made me feel seen, made me feel valued, and it just meant so much to her. All right, other ways to support volunteers, you mentioned donating items or actually shopping at our thrift stores that we have throughout the city. We have a couple of reporters here who say, "Oh yeah, there's half off Wednesdays." We know when they show up all these new clothes and they get it at a great price because they're shopping at the thrift store. But thank you so much for what you chose to do.
Thanks for having us.
Answer the call of the bell. All right.